After being arrested in Waco, Texas, in January of 2022, they kept me in that mental hospital, I don't know, for about 23 days. As far as I know, they could have falsified the records on that too. I have no idea how long I was there because I was injured. I was in intensive care. They knocked me out. When I was on trial, I was under a medication. And I didn't even know I was on trial. I was in a hospital bed, in some really cold place, and they put me in intensive care in a mental hospital, and they would not let me leave. And they tackled me for 7 nights to stab me with an injection that I do not need. I'm being stabbed by this injection because everyone who knows that they failed Dale Earnhardt's death, or faked Dale Earnhardt's death, and faked my daughter's death in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and faked all these deaths in Oklahoma, they will not tell the truth. Nobody will tell the truth, so I'm homeless. Homeless. So what I did was I decided to make a little trip, and this trip was I was going to go to Louisiana, New Orleans, and try to gain some attention. So I left Dallas, Texas, and I started traveling, down this path down towards Houston, and I was headed towards New Orleans. I didn't make it. I drove all the way down here somewhere. It was nighttime. I went out in the Davy Crockett National Forest. I remember I'm driving through towns, little towns and stuff. I'm going all over the place because I want some attention. So I go through the David Crockett National Forest. Somewhere out in this area, I hit a deer in a place called Indian Hill. I don't know where this place is. It's out here somewhere. It's a little housing addition somewhere out here in this area. And I ended up, staying at the Woodville Hotel, the Woodville Inn, that night, parked right in front of the police station. So they saw my car destroyed. On the next morning, I leave and I drive down to Winnie, Texas, which is right about here. And I drove down the highway to Beaumont. My car wasn't going very fast, 45 miles an hour down the interstate. There were semis flying by me, 80 miles an hour, 75, 80 miles an hour. And I made it all the way down to Orange, Texas. That's when I realized somewhere in Winnie, Texas, I noticed I had a screw in my tire. I looked down, saw the screw in my tire. I told the guy at the little place, there's a gas station, Mobile One, and they had a Burger King that I ate a sandwich at, a spicy chicken sandwich. And I told the guy that I had a screw in my tire. I ended up going to Orange, Texas, and then I started going back towards Dallas because I knew I had some problems. My car wasn't going to make it. I got a flat about 50 miles from Lufkin, Texas, but I drove through all these towns, all these little cities. You can see all these cities I drove through. Now, what you have to remember is um, I drove through the city in a car where the front bumper was actually dragging the ground. It was illegal to drive in Texas. No headlight, no signal light. The passenger side bumper was dragging the ground. I was sleeping in fields and stuff too, sleeping in fields on the side of the road. I drove all over that area, all over the place, trying to get attention. I waved to police officers. I waved at the sheriff in Jasper, Texas. Waved at him. Hey, how y'all doing? Everywhere I went, I waved to police officers, gaining all kinds of attention for what you guys did. Uh, I ended up going to Alba, Texas. That's where I was stuck for like 3 days. The police knew I was there. The sheriff knew I was there. Fire department knew I was there. The whole town knew I was there. The town's smaller than Lone Grove. Everybody knew I was there. Everybody had to be talking. Everybody had to be. So after the third day, I was living off bread. I was living off the water out of drinking their water out of their laundromat. They had a bathroom in there. It was like chlorine water. It tastes terrible. But that's all the water I could drink. I had no money. I had like 16 cents. Last day, the guy came, knocked on my windows the third day. He said, "Brother, you're going to find another place to park." And I went to get 16 cents of gas, and he threw a dollar and said, "Here you go. This will get you down the road." So I drove down to the First Baptist Church, and I sat there in their parking lot for 3 hours. Car destroyed. Nobody'd help me. They came out, checked their mail, went back in. People walked by, looked at me, went to their house, came back, looked at me, went in the church, came back, looked at me, went to their house. Nobody'd help me. I finally went into the church, used the restroom. I asked one of the people that worked there if I could, have some money to give back for help, and they gave me $10 for gasoline, and I made it back to Dallas, which is that way. So the reason the areas are circled is it because these are cities that I went into, and people saw me in these cities. I waved at police officers in these cities. Now, it's not just these areas. There's other little towns in between. They're all over the place. Little towns everywhere. I've been all over this place out here. It's circled because I've been to many. I don't even know the names of most of these towns, cities I've been to. I've been there. I've been there. Everybody knows who I am and what's going on. I got back to Dallas. I drove that car all busted up, the bumper taped up for about a month and a half after I made it back after this little venture. I hit the deer here on my first night out. It took me about 7 days to get back to Dallas, 7 days. And I drove that car all over Dallas Fort Worth, waving at police officers in the police department parking lots. Plano, Texas, Irving, Richardson, and Garland in Dallas. Now remember, I hit the deer sometime around mid-February, middle of February, and I drove this car all over the place. And the back tire had a donut tire on it, so I was driving. I had a flat tire too, and I drove this car all over the place, at least 1,000 miles. And when I got back to Dallas, I put this piece of tape on here to hold the bumper up because it was dragging the ground. No AC, it was burning gas, or no heater, it was burning it. It was bad. So this is what happened from February of 2022 to April 9th of 2022. Because you're cops, they think that they can just do whatever they want when they can't. Even though they already know I've driven all over this area right here and all over this area for at least 2 months, they still will not tell the truth. So now I'll pinpoint the areas I drove in Dallas, Texas. I did every one of these. I drove all over the place. I went through these cities. I went to mall. I went to grocery stores. I was all over the place, waving at police officers. I passed police officers in Irving, waving at them. They turned their lights on to arrest me, then they turned their lights off and drove away. They turned their lights off in Dallas to arrest me. They turned their lights off and drove away. They turned their lights on to arrest me in McKinney. They turned their lights off and drove away. I had a cop call me from Frisco. "This is Detective Flores. We'd like to talk to Brett Ferry." And all he would have done is said, "We don't know anything about what you're talking about. I know that because you've arrested me and put me in jail. And 2 years has gone by and you've done nothing except lie to my face." So I drove through all these cities everywhere. I was on city streets. I went to malls, Walmart, shopping. I've been everywhere in a car illegal to drive in the state of Texas, waving at police officers. Now, what happened on April 9th, I knew I was going to be evicted. I grabbed what I could. I got in my car and I left because I was being followed all over Dallas by Intel Corporation's police officers. I saw the guy up here. It looked like the same guy, one of the guys that had arrested me and stole my evidence at the Hyundai dealership in Ardmore. He was holding the door open for me with his red beard. And so holding the door, "You okay, sir?" Acting real nice, pretending like I don't know who he is. Anyway, he's the same guy who I saw in Yukon right before I got arrested in Yukon, Oklahoma. Followed me all the way up to Yukon, Oklahoma. What's an Ardmore cop doing? Follow me around Dallas, have me arrest, steal my evidence, and follow me to Yukon, and then pretend he doesn't know who I am at the Hyundai dealership just about a month ago. What are you doing lying like that? You need to be in a jail cell, you crook. So anyway, on April 9th, I fled. I fled in the morning. I left. I was in this area down here, but I went through Garland, through Richardson, through Plano. I went through Allen, and I was going down Highway 5. I went through Fairview and McKinney, and then I went all the way down to Melissa on Highway 5. That's when I got on 75 and started going, but I had to exit a few times. My car wouldn't go very fast. And went through, these towns right here all the way up to Sherman, and I drove through Sherman. Police officer saw me. You may not have been in a police car, but you might have been in civilian clothing. Everybody knows, and everybody's lying. We'll go here. Then I went down. So I went through Howe. I went through Sherman. I caught the guy on video out here on Shepherd Road, some guy's house on Shepherd Road. I got his license plate. I got his face with a red beard, and he put a mask so I couldn't see his face. After that, I drove through Sherman. I started driving this direction, but I took a road up here, Miller Road. I believe it's called Miller Road. And I came up, and there's a little house right there as I went around the corner, and I went into Sadler. Now, the crazy thing about Sadler, Texas, was right as I entered Sadler, Texas, from the side road, a sheriff came by pulling a trailer. Maybe that's how he kept track of me. Yeah, we got him right here. He's right here. Don't worry, you stay right there. Everybody's just telling the crooked cop where I'm at. Or is it GPS? Was I on GPS? Was my car on GPS? Did somebody put some kind of GPS location on my car when I was driving around? Because I drove through Sadler down back roads. I came out up here, and right here, there's a little Texaco store right before you get to the Willis Bridge, and he was sitting at that Texaco store waiting for me. Now there's at least 3 bridges I could have crossed. I could have taken, and you were waiting for me at that one bridge. And then I got video of you right here on the other side of the Willis Bridge. Now, to make matters worse, I came down through here. I went through Willis. I didn't go up, straight up the highway. I took a road right here. There was two kids and a grandfather or a father with fishing poles in the back of his truck who witnessed 3 cars follow me down that dirt road, some like Buckskin Road or something like that. You guys would know because you lived in it. You had a trailer house. You had an older truck with fishing poles. You had two younger children, and I hid in your yard as those 3 cars passed me. And then when I came back out, all 3 cars came back by, but only one car followed me after that, and he followed me all the way up through here into Mansville. Through Madill, and man, I'd lose him. He'd find me again. I'd lose him. He'd find me again. Why am I being followed around by police officers in civilian clothing? What are you covering up, cops? What are you covering up, Intel Corporation? Huh? What are you covering up? Anyway, I had another video of him out here in Mansville at Barney Saxon's farm, Shannon Saxon's farm. So I come all the way across through here, and all of a sudden, as I enter Ardmore, all these motorcycle guys come out with little flags like they're leading me in. You stupid crooks. You faked my daughter's death, and you let the cops torture me to death. I don't think you're a crook. You're a murderer. You let my ex-wife get raped. You let my ex-girlfriend get raped. You let people commit crimes against me, stealing my house, stealing my car, and trying to kill me. And you're driving around motorcycles with American flags, calling yourselves heroes. Just remember that, because this is the car I drove for at least 2 months all over the state of Texas, waving at police officers.